Imagine for a moment that you lived in a gingerbread house. As delightful as this sounds, you would very quickly need to make a pact with yourself that you are going to refrain from doing the obvious, since you need your house to remain intact, and you know how much weight you would gain if you started nibbling on the walls. But every moment you sat in that house, that irresistible gingerbread smell would fill the air, while the anticipation of its honey sweetness danced on your tongue. If you gave in to temptation, you'd soon find yourself living in a cardboard box, with a few dozen extra pounds added to your frame. As ridiculous as this scenario may seem, we really live a version of it every day. We're surrounded by sweet temptations all the time, not just in supermarkets and corner stores, but in our own homes as well. But you may be able to relieve this temptation with a very simple step, according to some recent studies. Let's see how this works. Secretaries work hard and deserve some rewards. But when researcher Brian Weinsink offered Hershey's Kisses to an office full of secretaries several years back, he wasn't merely offering a treat. He was also taking some valuable data that now helps us understand food cravings much better. Specifically, this study had a group of secretaries receive candy dishes for their office desks filled with 30 Hershey's Kisses. But there was a key difference in the dishes themselves. Half of them were clear, and half were opaque. This meant that half the secretaries in the study could see the candies through the entire workday, while the other half could not. Would this one fact influence how much was eaten? You bet it did. After a 2-week period, where the remaining candies were counted at the end of every day, it was discovered that those who received the clear dishes ate 71% more chocolates than those with the opaque ones. This meant a consumption of 7.7 chocolates versus 4.6. As each Hershey's Kiss is around 25 calories, this also meant that the clear dish recipients consumed about 75 more calories, just because they could see inside the dish they were given. And it's not like the other group felt deprived of those 3 extra chocolates. They were simply eating less because they weren't thinking about them as often. Similar results are seen when you change proximity. In a follow-up study, a different group of secretaries were all given a clear candy dish, but with the location of the dish moved 3 different times over 3 weeks. In week 1, it was on the corner of the desk. In week 2, it was in the desk drawer. In week 3, it was on top of a filing cabinet, but that cabinet was placed 6 meters away from the desk. Now, of those 3 locations, which one do you think caused the highest consumption of chocolates, and which caused the lowest? If you guess that the corner of the desk caused the highest consumption, you'd be correct. But you may be surprised that the fewest chocolates were consumed when the dish was on the filing cabinet, even though the cabinet was in sight of the secretaries as they sat at their desks. How could this be? Well, when interviewed after the study was over, many of the secretaries remarked that when they had to walk 6 meters to take a chocolate, they found themselves thinking twice about doing so. As a result, when the dish was placed on the filing cabinet, the secretaries consumed only 4 chocolates a day, as opposed to 9 when it was on their desk. Yep, just having the dish 6 meters further away saved them an extra 125 calories a day. The great thing about these results is that they can work for you in 2 ways. You can keep your weight down by having junk food covered and further away, while increasing your health by having healthy foods uncovered and within reach. At home, for example, you can make sure to always have a full fruit basket on your living room coffee table while putting sweets in opaque containers that go to the back of a kitchen cabinet. Now, this is not a strategy that will make you drop 50 pounds in a year, but it is another handy tool for your weight loss toolbox. Much like covering the walls of your gingerbread house with spray paint, it will help keep the temptations out of mind and therefore out of your body as well.